Hello everyone, welcome back to the lecture series on general psychology. I am Dr. Olivia Kakati Sarma. I'm a psychologist and researcher, and I'm also UGC NET qualified, and I have completed my PhD in psychology from University of Delhi, and I've completed my master's in clinical psychology from Christ University, Bangalore. So today we shall be taking our journey forward and we shall talk about emotions. Okay. So in today's session, we'll cover what are emotions, the different components of emotions. Then we shall proceed to the various theories on emotions. We will talk about what the core ideas of those theories are and also what are the strengths and weaknesses of those theories. Then we shall be talking about emotions and culture and different forms of emotional expression, and then we shall wind today's session up with our discussion on emotional regulation. Okay, so let us begin. So let's begin with the perennial question: what is emotion? So emotions are fundamental to understanding psychological life. Okay, emotions are the basis of psychological life. They influence how we perceive, react to, and navigate our internal and external environments. Okay, so what do emotions do? So emotions influence how we perceive, react to, and navigate our environment. Okay, so emotions are fundamental to human experience. Okay, so what kind of reactions we give to our environment, how we perceive our environmental cues, and how we navigate the various reactions to the environment are all guided by our emotions. Okay, so not only that, emotions can also guide our decision making. So our decision making is also guided by our emotions. Then we are motivated to take certain action, motivates actions, okay, because of our emotions, and also the kind of social interactions we have are all guided by our emotions, and most essentially it serves an evolutionary function. How does it do that? Because emotions guide our fight or flight responses and things like that, which is why they also serve very important evolutionary functions. Now let us try to understand how do we define emotions. So if we look at the definition offered by Cicerelli and White, emotions are the feeling aspect of our consciousness. So what are emotions? The feeling. We very commonly use the word feelings and emotions interchangeably, right? But emotions are nothing but the feeling aspect of our consciousness, and they not only involve the physical arousal, the expressive behaviors, behaviors as well as the subjective experiences. Okay, so emotions are in totality the sum of the physical arousal a situation or a stimuli creates, the expressive behaviors which are seen as a reaction to that, and the subjective experiences we have pertaining to that. Okay, now if we look at the definition offered by Morgan and King, emotion is a complex affective state which involves a subjective feeling, a physiological activation, and expressive behavior. Now, what are these? Okay, let's begin with the subjective feeling. Okay, what a person internally experiences, the internal experiences of the person. For example, feelings of sadness, happiness, etc. are part of your subjective feeling. Suppose one is feeling happy, one is feeling sad. That encurtails the subjective feeling component of emotion. Then there is also associated with the subjective feelings, there is also a sort of physiological activation. Okay. So what do we understand by physiological activation? So emotions always involves the brain, especially the limbic system. Okay. So different kinds of emotions trigger different areas in the limbic system and also the autonomic nervous system. Okay. So in totality, when there is sort of a subjective feeling pertaining to the emotions, it also caters a physiological activation of the brain and the limbic system, and that leads to certain expressive behaviors which are nothing but the visible manifestations of emotions. For example, when we feel angry, there is a sort of a facial expression, there's a sort of a bodily posture. Those are your expressive behaviors which are nothing but the visible manifestations of how we are actually feeling or the emotions we are expressing. Okay. Now, like I said, sometimes we use the words moods, feelings, and emotions interchangeably, right? So are moods, feelings, and emotions just the same? Let's find out. Okay. So let's start with emotions. Okay. Emotions are very short-lived and intense responses to specific stimuli. Okay. So when we encounter any stimuli in our environment, the first sort of reactions, the intense responses to which we feel to that kind of specific stimuli are part of what we call the emotions. Okay. For example, when we suddenly spot a snake out in the open, there is a sudden feeling of fear, right? So that fear is our emotion. Okay. Whereas feelings are the subjective experiences of emotions. So feelings are also a component of the emotion, but that is not just the intense response to a particular stimuli, but the subjective associations of experience that we have of those emotions are what encurtail our feelings. Okay. Mood, on the other hand, is the diffuse, long-lasting emotional states. Okay. The long-lasting emotional states that are not always tied to one particular event. Okay. So if we view the emotion as something cross-sectional, mood is something which is more long-lasting. Okay, so it is not always tied to one specific event. Emotions are usually the reaction to one particular stimuli or one specific event, and that the subjective experience that creates is what we call feelings. But moods are the diffuse and long-lasting emotional states that are longitudinal in nature and not specifically tied to one specific event. Okay, if we look at what Morgan and King have to say, they say that moods are less intense but sometimes more sustained than emotion. So like I said, if we view emotion as something cross-sectional, mood is rather longitudinal in nature. It is more sustained. Okay, so next we have the various components of emotion. So what exactly are the various components of emotion? So emotions basically have three components: the physiological or the biological component, the visible manifestations, which are the behavioral component, and finally the mental processes at play, which are the cognitive component. The physiological component of emotion is what is controlled by the autonomic nervous system, the ANS. Okay, so this involves the changes in heart rate, the respiration and skin conductance. Respiration and skin conductance. Okay, so the components of the emotional reaction which are controlled by the autonomic nervous system, for example, change in heart rate, respiration and skin conductance, is what we call the physiological component of emotion. Okay, the various brain structures involved in the physiological component of emotions include the amygdala, the hypothalamus, and the insula. So these are the components of the brain. So these are the major brain structures which are involved in the physiological component of emotions. Okay, so next we have the behavioral component of emotions. So like I previously said, these are the visible manifestations of our emotions. So facial expressions, bodily gestures, and our vocal tone, body language, etc. are all part of our behavioral component. Okay. Finally, the cognitive component consists of the evaluation and interpretation of the stimuli that we perceive, that we see. Okay. So the mental processes which are at play, which lead to a particular kind of behavioral reaction or emotional reaction, encompass the cognitive component of emotions. Okay, so the different individual and cultural differences in appraisal can shape our emotional experience, especially the cognitive component of emotions. So now despite individual differences in emotions, we also see that despite the personal and social and cultural differences, there are 6 different types of universal facial expressions or emotions. Okay. Paul Ekman is a very, very important figure in emotional research. He came up with 6 universal emotions. Universal emotions. Right? What are those? Paul Ekman, he said that despite the individual differences, there are 6 innate universal emotions, and all other emotions are a combination of these 6 basic universal emotions. Okay. One is happiness, then there is sadness, then there is anger, there's fear, there's disgust, and finally surprise. So these 6 universal emotions encompass all other secondary emotions. Okay. So since there are 6 universal emotions and all the other emotions are a result of mixing up of these emotions, we can also gather from that emotions involve an interaction between the biological, cognitive and the social systems. Okay.